Your bank account is just a mirror of your philosophy made visible. You see, every life is built twice. First in the mind, then in reality. And if you don't take charge of the first construction, the invisible one life will default to building you a shack, not a palace. That's the danger of drifting. You get whatever the world gives, not what your vision demands. And here is another thing to remember. One small leak sinks a great ship. Now, isn't that something? You don't need a hurricane to go under just a tiny hole you ignore long enough. And in your financial life, it's no different. You don't need 10 problems to go broke. Sometimes all it takes is one. No savings, uncontrolled spending, or simply living another year without a plan. It's the small neglects that become great regrets. A $5 coffee every day doesn't seem like a big deal until you realize it's $1,800 a year. You say, well, Jim, that's not much. But that's how it starts. Little habits, small leaks. And suddenly, your future's taking on water faster than you can bucket it out. Now, here's the real danger. It's not the leak itself. It's pretending it's not there. It's saying, I'll fix it later. And every day you wait, you're letting your dreams drift a little further from shore. But let me tell you something powerful. You can face the leak. That's not judgment, that's empowerment. You see, when you fix that one weak area, when you start saving even a little, when you write out a clear plan, when you finally tell your money where to go instead of wondering where it went, everything changes. Your system gets stronger. Your confidence grows. Your future gets clearer. That's the magic of fixing the leak. One change, just one, can shift the current of your entire life. So I say, be brave enough to look at the hole, patch it, reinforce it, and get back to sailing strong toward the life you know you were meant to build. You see, it's a fundamental truth: control your finances or they will control you. You cannot master your life without mastering money, and you can't master money if you don't first track it. I learned this lesson from my mentor, who one day asked me, show me the numbers. Now, at that moment, I had to face a harsh reality. I didn't know the numbers. I thought I was managing just fine. After all, I had money to buy a coffee here, a dinner there. But I wasn't managing, I was just reacting. Most people live by feel when it comes to money. They feel wealthy because they can still go out for a meal, still afford a new shirt. They feel rich until one day they're broke. You don't truly know where your money is going until you track it. And tracking doesn't just show you the cold, hard truth of where your money is being spent. It also shows you where your mind is at. It reveals your habits. Tracking your finances forces you to stop living on autopilot and start being intentional with your decisions. Now, the simple act of writing down your expenses, whether it's on a piece of paper or in a spreadsheet, changes everything. It's not just about knowing how much you've spent. It's about shifting from a place of mindless spending to a place of discipline and control. Tracking your finances isn't a chore. It's leadership. It's the act of taking full responsibility for your life. Because when you can look at your financial records and say, I know exactly where my money is going, you have taken command of your situation. Think about it. If you don't track your money, how can you possibly make a solid plan for the future? How can you know what you need to cut back on or where you can invest more? It's like going on a road trip without a map. You might feel like you're moving forward, but you'll eventually end up lost or stuck. I'll tell you this, the discipline to track your finances is a key to mastering your life. It's like anything else. If you want to be successful, you need to take action. If you want to be healthy, you track your food intake, your workouts. If you want to improve your relationships, you track the time you spend with loved ones. The same goes for money. When you track it, you become a leader in your own life. You are no longer a passive observer hoping things work out. You are actively shaping your future. Now, I'm not saying you need to obsess over every penny. It's not about micromanaging. But knowing where your money is going and why you're spending it gives you the power to make informed decisions. It helps you shift from impulse spending to intentional spending. And when you do that, you start to create wealth. I remember when I first started doing this, I was shocked at what I found. Small, unnoticed expenses were draining my resource eating out, subscriptions I didn't even use, impulse buys that seemed harmless at the time. But they added up, and once I saw it, I could change it. I could redirect those funds into something meaningful, investing in myself, saving for the future, or building something bigger than just a paycheck-to-paycheck lifestyle. The bottom line is this: if you want to create the life you deserve, you have to take control of your finances. If you don't, they will control you. So, take charge. Start tracking. Take the numbers seriously, and you will start to see your life and your wealth transform. Your habits reveal your value, so track them. This is a truth I've come to understand deeply. It's not just about what we say we value, it's about what we actually do day in and day out. We all have goals, we all have dreams, we want financial freedom, health, success, fulfillment. But those dreams are not achieved by wishful thinking or empty promises to ourselves. They are achieved through the habits we choose to nurture every single day. And if you want to know what your true values are, don't look at what you say, look at what you do. Your habits speak louder than words ever will. Take discipline, for example. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. You can have the most ambitious goals in the world, but without the daily discipline to follow through, those goals remain just that, goals. They don't become reality. Discipline shows up in your daily habits. If you say personal growth is important to you, but when you look at your spending habits, there's $0 allocated for books, seminars, or courses, and $300 going toward coffee, then the truth is right there in the numbers. Your habits have revealed what you truly value. It's not about what you say, but about where you put your time, energy, and money. It's easy to say, I want to grow. I want to get better. But growth doesn't just happen because you want it. Growth happens when you discipline yourself to take the actions that support that growth. And the truth is, most people don't track their habits, which is why they never see the results they desire. They hope, they guess, and they react to what's happening around them. But wealthy people, successful people, they track, they measure, and they adjust. They don't wait for circumstances to change them. They take responsibility and make the necessary changes themselves. I've had moments in my own life where I thought I was on the right track. But when I took a good hard look at my habits, I realized that I wasn't living in alignment with my goals. I wasn't investing in my own growth the way I should have been. I was spending money on things that didn't contribute to my future. And that's when I made the decision to get serious about tracking my habits. I didn't just track my finances. I tracked my time, my activities, the way I spent my energy. The more I paid attention, the more I realized that the habits I had were either propelling me forward or holding me back. This is a critical point. Wealthy people are not just lucky, they are intentional. They track their habits, they measure their progress, and when something isn't working, they adjust. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. It's about making small, intentional changes every day, and over time, those small changes add up to massive results. On the other hand, broke people, those stuck in the cycle of mediocrity, they hope that things will change on their own. They guess at what will work, they react to life's challenges instead of preparing for them. And when they don't see results, they wonder why. Tracking your habits is an act of leadership. It's about taking control of your future. You don't leave your success to chance. You don't let your days slip by without intentional focus on what really matters. You make sure that your daily actions align with your values and your goals. And when you track your habits, you give yourself the power to adjust. You can see the areas where you're wasting time, money, or energy, and you can redirect those resources into actions that will get you closer to your dreams. So ask yourself, what do your habits say about your values? Are they reflecting the person you want to become? If not, track them, measure them, and adjust them. Because it's not just about what you say, it's about what you do. And when your actions align with your values, that's when true growth happens. Financial transformation begins with emotional maturity. The truth is, most people make financial decisions based on emotions. They feel good in the moment, and their emotions drive them to buy things they don't need, things that will not serve their long-term success. But emotions are fickle, and they can lead you down a path of regret if you're not careful. You spend because it feels good now, and then you justify it later with logic. I deserve this, you say. I work hard for my money. Or, it's on sale, I can't pass it up. But that kind of thinking leads to wealth. It leads to temporary satisfaction followed by long-term financial stress. I've seen it in my own life and in the lives of so many others. The key to true financial transformation is not just about numbers and logic. It's about emotional maturity. Wealthy people don't make decisions based on how they feel at the moment. They think strategically. They make decisions with a long-term view in mind. They ask themselves, does this serve the life I'm building, or is it going to sabotage it? When you start asking yourself that question, you begin to see a shift in your thinking. Most people are slaves to their emotions when it comes to money. They let emotions like fear, greed, or excitement drive their decisions, and this leads them to make impulsive purchases. They buy the shiny object or chase the next trend, hoping it will bring them happiness, but that's a trap. The wealthy have learned how to pause before making any financial decision. They take the time to reflect. They don't allow their emotions to dictate their actions. Instead, they act deliberately with a sense of purpose and control. I remember early in my life, I would sometimes get caught up in the excitement of a good deal or the pleasure of making a purchase. I didn't pause to ask myself the hard questions. But as I began to grow and learn more about money, I realized that my emotional relationship with money had to change. I had to stop viewing money as a tool for instant gratification and start seeing it as a tool for building the life I wanted. That's when I made the conscious decision to stop spending emotionally and start thinking strategically. Emotional control is what separates the wealthy from the broke. Wealth is not just about having money, it's about how you think about and relate to money. When you change your emotional relationship with money, you begin to transform your financial life. You start to see money as a tool for creating the life you want, not as a means of temporary pleasure or escape. The wealthy understand this. They know that every dollar they spend has the potential to either move them closer to their goals or move them farther away. Wealthy people also know that money is not just a math problem. It's an emotional one. They understand the importance of having a healthy relationship with money. This means learning to delay gratification, learning to live below your means, and making thoughtful decisions about where your money goes. It's not always easy, but it's necessary. You have to ask yourself tough questions every time you pull out your wallet. Does this purchase serve my future or take away from it? If the answer is no, then it's time to walk away. It's not just about making smart financial decisions. It's about mastering your emotion. When you can control your emotional impulses, when you can pause and think before acting, you will begin to see a massive shift in your financial life. Your bank account will reflect the emotional maturity you've developed, and your financial future will be one of purpose, not regret. Change your emotional relationship with money, and you change your financial destiny. It's as simple as that. You'll find that when you begin to act with control, strategy, and a long-term mindset, the wealth you desire will start to flow toward you. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. And that's when true financial transformation happens. Ask better questions, get a better life. The questions you ask yourself determine the direction of your life. Most people walk around asking themselves small, short-sighted questions like, how much can I earn? Or, how can I make more money? These questions are rooted in survival mode. They're about scraping by, getting through the day, and getting just enough to get by. But that's not the question that leads to lasting success. That's not the question that leads to wealth. If you want to truly transform your life, you have to start asking yourself better questions. Instead of asking, how much can I earn? Ask, what will I leave behind? It's a subtle shift, but it's one of the most powerful changes you can make. When you start asking questions like, what impact will I make in the lives of others? Or, what kind of legacy do I want to leave? You stop thinking just about survival, and you begin to think in terms of something much bigger, something that will last far beyond you. This shift from a survival mentality to a legacy mentality is the key to long-term wealth and success. The broke mindset seeks escape, seeks to just get by and not face reality. The wealthy mindset seeks to build, to create, and to leave something meaningful behind. They ask, how can I make a lasting impact? You see, wealth isn't just about what you earn, it's about what you create. It's not about how much money you make, but the kind of person you become along the way. It's not what you get that makes you valuable, it's what you become. That's where true wealth comes from. It comes from the process of growth, from continually asking yourself better questions that challenge you to rise above the ordinary and build something extraordinary. When you shift your thinking from how much can I earn to what can I create, your decisions get wiser. You begin to think long term instead of focusing on quick fixes. Your actions become intentional and meaningful. You move beyond just surviving and begin building something lasting. Think about if out. Many people are out there working hard to earn money, but they're not building anything of significance. They're just working to get by month after month, year after year, stuck in the cycle of earning and spending with no true legacy to show for their efforts. But when you begin to ask, what can I leave behind? You start to think about your impact on the world around you. You begin to think about the people you can help, the changes you can make, and the mark you can leave. This change in perspective is what transforms the way you live. It pushes you to develop the habits that will take you from being just another person trying to survive to someone who is building a meaningful, impactful life. It forces you to think about the big picture. When you ask yourself, what will I leave behind? You start to make decisions that align with your vision for the future. You begin investing in things that matter, whether it's in your education, your relationships, or your long-term goals. You stop thinking about the immediate pleasure of buying things you don't need, and you start thinking about how you can create something that will endure. The wealthy mindset isn't just about accumulating money, it's about building a legacy. It's about leaving a trail of value behind you. So instead of asking yourself, how much can I earn? Ask, what impact can I make? Ask, what kind of person will I become? When you ask these better questions, you begin to craft a life of meaning, purpose, and wealth that extends far beyond anything you could earn in a lifetime. Asking better questions is the first step in changing your life. It leads you down the path of growth and legacy. It transforms your thinking from small, self-centered questions to big, impactful ones. When you begin asking the right questions, you open the door to a whole new world of possibilities. You stop living just to get by and start living with intention, creating wealth not just in your bank account, but in your life's work, your relationships, and your impact on the world. So, ask better questions and watch as your life becomes richer in every way. Invest in your mind, it pays the highest dividends. You see, a broke person waits for money to invest. They're waiting for the right opportunity, the right time, the right conditions. They think, if I just had more money, I could invest and change my life. But that's not how it works. A wealthy person knows that their first and best investment is not in stocks or real estate eats in their own thinking. Your mind is the greatest asset you have. It's the one thing that can never be taken from you. And the more you feed it, the more it grows, the more it multiplies, and the greater the returns it gives you. Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. That's the truth. A degree will get you a job, but it's the ongoing investment in your own learning and growth that will get you the life you desire. Your ability to learn, adapt, and apply new knowledge is the secret to wealth. If you're not reading, learning, expanding, then your mind is shrinking, and so is your future. The world is constantly changing, and the people who stay ahead of the curve are the ones who invest in themselves. I've never met a truly successful person who isn't constantly learning. They may not have gone to the best schools or gotten the highest degrees, but they understand one thing. Their mind is their greatest resource. If you want to change your financial future, you have to change your mental habits. You have to feed your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. Everything starts in your mind. Your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your future. Think about it. How much time do you spend every day on your personal growth? If you're spending hours scrolling through social media or watching television, you're investing your time in something that's not going to pay you back. But when you invest in your mind, when you spend time reading books, listening to podcasts, attending seminars, or learning new skills, you're making an investment that will pay off for the rest of your life. The best part about investing in yourself is that it's a compounding return. The more you learn, the more valuable you become. The more valuable you become, the more opportunities come your way. As your mind grows, so does your ability to earn, to create, and to lead. It's a never-ending cycle of improvement and reward, but it doesn't happen by accident. You have to make it a priority. Every successful person I know is constantly seeking to improve their thinking. They're reading, they're learning, and they're applying what they learned to make better decisions and achieve greater results. Now, let's be clear, this doesn't mean you have to go back to school or get another degree. It means you have to take responsibility for your own education. The best investors in the world didn't wait for the perfect opportunity. They created it by educating themselves first. Warren Buffett spends hours every day reading, learning, and studying. He says, the more you learn, the more you earn. That's the mindset you need to adopt if you want to be successful. So, ask yourself, what are you doing to invest in your mind today? Are you reading a book that challenges your thinking? Are you learning a new skill that will open doors for you? Are you surrounding yourself with people who challenge you to grow and expand your horizons? The answers to these questions will tell you where you're heading. If you're not investing in your mind, you're missing out on the most powerful tool you have. Remember, your mind is like a garden. If you're not planting good seeds, if you're not feeding it with knowledge and wisdom, then you're allowing weeds to grow. Weeds like fear, doubt, and ignorance. And those weeds will choke out any chance of success. But when you feed your mind with good, positive, empowering information, you create a fertile ground for growth. And that growth leads to success, wealth, and a life of abundance. So make the decision today to invest in your mind. Make it a priority. Read every day. Listen to those who have achieved what you want to achieve. Never stop learning. Because when you invest in your mind, you invest in your future. And that investment will pay you back in ways you can't even imagine. Build assets, not just income. You see, a job pays you once, but an asset pays you over and over again. The broke chase income. They live paycheck to paycheck, waiting for the next paycheck to cover the bills, chasing that next raise or promotion just to stay afloat. But the wealthy, they build something different. They build independence. They create systems, businesses, investments, and other forms of income that keep generating money long after the work is done. They focus on building assets, things that work for them, things that grow, things that provide long-term, sustainable wealth. Ask yourself, do you have something that earns money while you sleep? If you don't, that's a problem. And I'm not saying this to make you feel bad. I'm saying it because you need to wake up and see the truth. You need to understand the game you're playing. The game isn't about how hard you work for money. It's about how smart you work to make money work for you. And that's the essence of building assets. Whether it's real estate, stocks, a side business, or even intellectual property, you need to start thinking about the long term. Building wealth is about building something that doesn't rely on your time and effort alone. You can only work so many hours in a day. You can only trade your time for so much money before you run out of time. But assets, they work for you. They continue to generate income day after day, year after year, and that's how wealth is built. It's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money works for you when you're not working. Now let me be clear, I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm not telling you to do something risky or foolish. But what I am telling you is this: stop waiting for the perfect time. You don't need everything to be perfect to start. You don't need to have $1 million or an established business to begin. Start small. Take that first step. Begin learning about how assets work, whether it's reading, taking courses, or connecting with people who have already done it. It's about shifting your mindset. Instead of looking for the next paycheck, start looking for the next asset. You might not be able to build a multi-million-dollar portfolio overnight, but you can build small assets that, over time, compound into something far bigger. Even a small step toward asset building is a giant leap out of financial slavery. You don't have to be stuck in the cycle of working to survive. You don't have to keep depending on the next paycheck. Begin thinking about building something that will pay you over and over again, long after the work is done. When I was getting started, I didn't have everything figured out. I didn't have all the resources, all the money, or all the knowledge. But I started. I began by investing in small things, learning about the stock market, buying books, taking action on opportunities that came my way, And over time, I built assets that began generating income, and it changed my life. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for everything to fall into place. The perfect moment will never come. Start now. Start learning. Start taking action. The sooner you start building assets, the sooner you break free from the rat race. And when you start building, you won't just be working for money, you'll be building something far greater. Financial independence, freedom, and the kind of wealth that lasts for generations. So take control of your future. Start building assets today. They will pay you when you sleep, when you travel, and when you're spending time with your family. And that's what real wealth is all about. Success is a lifestyle, not a moment. We have this tendency to wait for a breakthrough event, a moment that will change everything for us. We think that if we just find that one opportunity, make that one decision, or have that one piece of luck, everything will suddenly click into place and we'll be on the fast track to wealth. But here's the reality. Success isn't a lottery win. It's not some magical event that comes to those who are lucky enough to stumble upon it. Success is a lifestyle-y series of small, consistent acts done well day after day. You see, wealth isn't created in one big leap. It's created in the little steps you take every single. Those small, seemingly insignificant actions you do today are what compound into something meaningful over time. Wealth isn't about waiting for one big moment to change everything. It's about building the habits that create that moment. It's about consistently applying the basics, those small fundamental actions that lead to something far greater. Success is neither magical nor mysterious. It's the natural consequence of consistently applying the basic fundamentals. The fundamentals aren't complicated, but they require discipline. They require showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it, even when things aren't going your way, even when the results aren't immediate. Success is about doing the right things over and over again. It's about getting up every day and choosing to do the work that leads to your goals. It's about making the right decisions when it's easy and when it's hard.